Gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of Stop, Look, and Listen. I'm your host, LeTroy Gardner. I have two fellas, giving us some of that alternative soul and hip hop, representing Illinois. We got Joanz and B. Welcome to the show, fellas.
What's
What's
going
good,
on?
man?
What's going
Man,
on?
how y'all doing?
Great. You?
Man,
Oh, doing well, doing well. So yeah, like I said, we got Joanz and B here. They got the new single "Well Known" out now, getting radio airplay across the country.
man.
First off, just tell us how you both linked up.
So we met through a mutual friend, a brother to us, actually. And I was, and I'll let B speak more on his side of it, but I was in a situation where I had just started making music myself, really, writing everything, and I couldn't figure out exactly what I was missing in a lot of my songs that I was coming up with. Like, I would have dope ideas and it would irritate and frustrate me because I'm in the studio and I can't get it out the way it sounds in my head. So that said mutual friend, I reached out to my brother. I'm like, man, I'm getting somewhere with the music. I'm actually going to the studio, this, that, and the third. I'm just missing stuff and um, vocal wise, different aspects and ranges that I want in here, but can't necessarily hit.
Hmm.
And he was working with B at the time, and he said, I got somebody at work that he just be singing all the time on the shift, and I know he makes music outside of this. I'm gonna put you in touch with him, and we linked up. I just had him. Honestly, I think I had him meet me at the studio the day after we chopped it up, and we knocked out our very first record that he loves to this day. Like I guess I understand why he loves it. It's a very genuine R&B feel. Um, but it's just you know how it is, man. When you get that first track out the way, and you got your own biggest critic. So um, it's a little rocky, but he still to this day bump it. It's nostalgic because it's always dope when I hear him play it and I hear it, I'm like, dang, we didn't came a long way from that first track right there, man.
Right.
And it's been a learning curve for the both of us, man. Rising together in this industry to uh, spark change and diversity in different aspects of music and whatnot. It's just been a learning curve because we've done nothing but grow. I mean, you would think with duos, groups, bands. I mean, we've had our rough patches. I'm not gonna say we perfect because we're not, but with bands and you have duos, trios, whatever the case may be, normally see as they rise internally, they fall
Hmm.
because there's too much conflict. There's a lot of things in the business that they didn't understand or care to really understand. They just saw the success coming and didn't really, think to feed into everything else. And they see those checks and everything and how everything gets dispersed. So it causes a lot of conflict. But with us, we've noticed that when two selfless individuals come together, you get a camaraderie of we just want everyone to succeed. We want everyone to succeed in their lane. And when we have that and we're God driven, we stay prayed up. We have prayer warriors around us that help us stay grounded, keep us encouraged and faith, keep our faith intact. When you have that around you, you tend to just, understand that you have a backing and you have a direction that you're going in. You have a support system behind you, and that's what keeps us level-headed with everything that we do because we know that not only are we proving this to ourselves, but we're also proving to our support system that those prayers, you know, didn't go unnoticed or they didn't, help us in some type of way to the point to where, basically we just don't want to fail those who have kept us in their prayers on this journey. So it puts a responsibility and a sense of accountability on our shoulder to make sure that we do all that we set out to do and, uphold the promise to God that we made to get here.
Yeah, go ahead, B. you said
We
you
tend to
said it
do that a
all.
lot, man. We tend to
You
do that
kind
a
of,
lot. We'll
you
speak
kind
for each
of,
other.
you kind of summed it up right there, man. I really don't have anything to add. He kind of hit all marks with that one.
Yeah. Well, all right. So Jones just touched on like having the prayer warriors and you
Hmm.
know those that have continued to uplift your journey.
Yep.
Just talk
Mhm.
about your background when it comes to gospel music.
So, I've been singing since the age of 4. Ever since I could pretty much walk, I've been doing some sort of vocalizing, whether that be humming, doing scales throughout, the course of schooling. I've been in every major choir class you can think of throughout schooling. Um, Sung with the church choir, but I was, every year of my life, I pretty much have been singing and just working on my craft. Started taking music serious around 16, when I actually got in the studio and started making music. But I've been singing, I've been perfecting my craft, and it's just been a journey to see exactly where it's been taking me and how far I've come vocally. And I'm not the best singer, but I can stand with some of the best. So
Right.
just say that. And
I'll be cocky for him. That man got range, got vocals. I don't care. I'm putting him up against anybody in this game. That's my confidence in bro. I'll say it for
All right. That's what a wingman is supposed to do.
yeah, yeah.
him.
So yeah, I mean, we met each other, um, and seeing what he was capable of when it came to the lyricism and creating a song. And I heard it, and I'm hearing it in the studio in the headphones. I'm like, man, this is crazy. This is a super dope song. Like, I wouldn't have came up with something like this. I do R&B, and I do every genre, but I was like, I wouldn't have came up with nothing like this. The way it flowed together, and I'm like, okay, cool, I like this. And I'm like, hey, let me put my own spin on it real quick. And I did, and it's like he said, it's one of my favorite songs. He doesn't like it too much, but it's by far one of my favorite songs we've ever done, and we've got well over 100, if not more, songs in the in
Right.
in the in the tank there. So for sure.
Yeah. So do you feel like you guys have figured out your formula as far as a duo in your sound?
Absolutely. We have our thing that we do, as far as on every hook, we're always together on the hooks. And we iron sharpens iron, so we give and go when it comes to critiquing each other and adding little aspects of things that could make the music better. However, the formula, I feel like every formula can be crafted, and there's always, just like a good recipe, there is no exact formula. A good homemade recipe, you're not going off of a cookbook. You're not one-fourth teaspoon of this, a half a cup of this.
Man,
No, it's
come
the
on now.
flavor, it's the taste. I'm gonna put as much as I want in it until it tastes well to me. And at times, those are the best. Those are the best things, the best flavors. That they're like, man, what'd you put in here? Like a whole bunch of everything, but
There you go.
with love and passion and aspirations and persistence, we come up with timeless music, and it's just a great feeling.
Right. Cooking from the soul.
Yeah. Oh,
Always, man.
like that. Like
Always.
that one.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, so Jones, how would you describe y'all sound?
You know, it's unique. It's refreshing. It's one of those things where it can't be replicated. We don't necessarily have one of those sounds that you've heard before, but it is familiar because of who we like to take bits and pieces of their crafts from. And it's all the greats that we've watched come before us, all the great entertainers, the artists, um, you name it, and how they carried themselves and how they decided to perfect their craft so they could stand out. Their craft would allow them to stand out. So you can't really coin who exactly, we sound like. I guess the closest thing is, I would say Outkast, um, paying homage in that way, but it's our sound is just one of those. It hits you in the back, the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. It's one
Mm-hmm.
of those. I've heard this before, but I haven't heard this before type of situation because everything that we do, we like to somewhat relate it to the music back then. Because the music we have today, there's no artistry in it. We're missing that artistry, that key component of uh standing out and having, I'm missing the word right now, but making a difference with your music
Right.
and having a message in it. We've lost that. So when it comes to our sound, we have a unique blend where, like you said, mentioned about the hooks, where we do that's our specialty thing. We like to harmonize either, uh, and that's where it doesn't matter. Like we're selfish. So I don't sing for real, but through the help of him, I'm able to hit different, ranges and that I've never thought I would able to be able to hit. And so sometimes he takes the lead on the hook, and sometimes I take the lead on the hook. It just all depends on how it's flowing and how it sounds, and what that beat calls for, depending on the key it's in. So we just and the funny thing about it is sometimes people, I guess you could say we've crafted this so well and blended so well together that sometimes people mess it up differentiating who's who,
Mm-hmm.
and it's happened a few times. I mean, obviously when he's getting, he got the soul in him and he take off on them ranges, like they know that's B.
Right.
But when we're just sitting there and we're knocking out, the main vocals or main lead of the hook or whatever, sometimes it's hard to differentiate. So we've tried to really work on our sound to the point that we don't sound like an artist and a feature. We're
Mm-hmm.
trying to sound like a unit. So we've really crafted it and really paid attention and became our own biggest critics with a lot of things, but it's done nothing but help us to blend together and create a sound that, is gonna be here for a long time.
Right. I like that you mentioned my favorite hip hop group of all time, Outkast, and how they their sound was futuristic. Like
hmm
AT Aliens coming out in '96, and
Yeah.
it was way ahead of his time. Or Southern Playalistic in '94.
hmm
Aquemini, my favorite album, from their catalog. But with that as like a blueprint, how do you distinguish between setting trends and following the trends when it comes to advancing in this game?
So we don't ever like to follow trends, right? We pay attention to
hmm
the industry and how it's going in the direction that it's going in, whether that be a positive direction or a negative direction, or just um, a whatever direction that it's going in. We try to stick and stay away from that. So
Mm-hmm.
we create our own lane and we stick to the lane, and what's not broken doesn't need to be fixed.
There you go.
And we don't want to sound like anybody. And if we start to sound like people, we put our heads together and we figure out what we can do to remain or get back in our lane. And that's where the people around that we surround ourselves come into play as well. Like we don't only have people on our team that deal with the management aspect of things, but we have very well versed individuals that are part of our team that know this music. They listen to music on a daily. They know which way the direction of the industry is going, how artists are doing, what artists are doing to connect and um, point out certain aspects of their music, and that's when they come into play and say, "Hey, maybe you guys should do this," or "I like that, but try to do this so you don't sound like them, or so you don't begin to sound like somebody else." So
Mm-hmm.
it's just sticking to our lane is what we do best, and that's all we are going to and want to do is create our own sound, make sure that it remains timeless, make sure that people are consistently wanting to listen to it. It's not just one play track. It's a track that you add on your playlist, and when you're driving, it pops up, and you're like, "Yo, put that on repeat." Um, so that's just what we do, man.
Right. So let's talk about well known. Let's talk about the latest single. Um, I kind of get the feeling that, I mean, it sounds autobiographical, kind of like. what you guys are experiencing now?
Mhm.
Is it tied more so to, um, your hometown and dealing with, people from there and recognizing your ascent and some of the trials and tribulations that comes with that?
Um, it's a little bit of that. You're always gonna have, you know, it's the cliche thing that always get tossed out there of you got to leave your hometown to be something, and when you come back after making something of yourself, that's when you get the hometown support. So you always gonna have that situation, but well known speaks a little bit deeper to the side that a lot of artists in this game uh choose not to reveal. They you you don't what people want nowadays is honesty. They want to see honesty, they want to see growth. Um and the reason for that being is because a lot of artists like choose to withhold all the things that it takes to be well known in this game and separate themselves from everyday people when that's not the case. Like we're grinding the same way you're grinding to get to where you're trying to go. We may have to do things that you may have had to do for a whole separate ventureship, but it's just, your ventureship may be with a brand or whatever the case may be. Ours just happens to be music.
Hmm.
It's just to showcase that the everyday life of an artist doesn't get showcased as much as you think it does. The highlight reels get showcased. So all the downfalls, the negatives, the, back and forth from being this entity of an artist to being a everyday regular person again is a constant conflicting thing because you have to, work around schedules. You have to um, be up and without sleep. It's a lot. It's a lot of sacrifices that the fan base doesn't get to see because that artist doesn't want to reveal that to them. They would rather reveal the highlight success stories. Where with Jones and B, what it takes and what it's about with being well known is showing everything it took to be well known. Like it's so many artists in this game that choose to gatekeep information. They'll tell you, don't take a deal, don't take a deal, don't take a deal, don't. Okay, well, how am I supposed to make money? Tell me that. How are we
Hmm.
supposed to make money? So it's so much stuff that doesn't get revealed, and that's what Jones and B is about. Like, not only are we going to be honest and transparent with you, but we're gonna tell you how we dealt with it.
Right.
That's the one thing you want to be able to do is help someone else out and tell them how you dealt with it, because just telling them that you overcame it ain't gonna do nothing to motivate them. Telling them the process of how to overcome it is gonna motivate them to actually do it.
Hmm.
So that's all well known is about, man. It's just about showcasing everything that most people don't get to see artists go through.
Right. You want to add anything to that, B?
No, I mean, like you said, it's the journey. It's the journey, man. It's our storyline from point A to B, A to Z. Sorry, um, but yeah, it's what we've been through. What most people are blinded by or have been shielded from when it comes to the industry or what they go through. Everybody thinks, hey, they're an artist. They don't have any problems. They don't have any worries. Look at them. They're being catered
Mhm.
to, or they got these fancy cars and this fancy lifestyle. But a lot of artists are struggling,
Very much so.
whether that be mentally, spiritually, or whatever it may be. So, well known is just like that. Hey, pay homage to those who are putting in work and don't overlook them.
Hmm.
So,
So what's your key to, I guess, surviving this music industry and like everything that you talk about in well known?
being first and foremost, keeping a prayerful mindset. And when I say that, I mean whatever has happened in your life, whatever is going on, it's already been foreseen, it's already been laid out. There is a blueprint that you don't see, but there is a blueprint that's been crafted out, and it has everything you think you don't even know what's going on, and it's got the details and the intricate situations like that. So stay prayed up. Sometimes you doubt things, sometimes you doubt yourself, but with doubt comes, crevices and areas that the enemy can come into your life and start to try to work or intertwine himself into it. So we stay prayed up. We have prayer warriors. Again, we have people in our team that when we fall short, they're right there to pick us up, and they're right there to pray for us and gear us for what we need to be doing, keep us on track. And as our manager will always say, everything has a body and there's vessels, but there's a heart to every situation, right? And you got to keep that heart pumping. So it's not just a one person thing. It's a unit thing. It's a family thing, and there's just certain mechanics that need to move and need to gear up
Mm,
for to create this journey and create what we're trying to do. So, with prayer, effort, persistence, never giving up. And sometimes it's hard not to want to give up because it's a crazy industry out here, and you go through personal things, and we as
oh yeah,
artists are not perfect, and we have personal issues that we deal with and situations that as individuals we are going through. But with the help of each other, we try to stay on track and are reminded that it's for the bigger picture. So that's what we do first and foremost. Other than that, we pay attention to the industry. Pay attention to
hmm
what you're doing. Pay attention to what you're doing. Understand what you're doing. And don't be afraid to ask questions when it comes to what, why, and how to do the things that you are doing. Because one moment that you overlook one thing is going to be something that you're going to look back on and be like, man, why didn't I just ask, or why didn't I pay more attention to this, why did I overread this, or why did I overlook this? And that's why most artists nowadays aren't able to do the things that they want to do, not able to perform what they want
exactly,
to do, not able to gain the access to the media, or not making the money that they thought they should have been making because they've they weren't paying attention, or they were just too eager to do something that they looked over the smallest detail. So we pay attention to that, we stay prayed up, and we just focus on being the best people we can be.
Dr. Todd McLean provides periodontal and dental implant services in 2 convenient locations. They offer over a decade of experience treating patients, and appointments can even be scheduled in the evenings, weekends, or early mornings. Give them a call in Chapel Hill at 919-537-9774 or in Durham at 919-484-8338, or visit them online at gumsandimplants.org.
So, like, as far as artists and balancing your personal lives, I remember like back in the day, most artists they kept like that mystique about them, and you never knew what was going on in their personal lives. But now, of course, with social media, people are more out in the open with
Mm-hmm.
their day to day existence. Like, how do you guys? What's your process for um, balancing those two worlds or combining them as one?
you know, it's 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 difficult for me. It's very difficult for me. And I'm sure B will have a different perspective of it. But for me, I was raised without social media. I didn't have any of that. I couldn't get. Matter of fact, I think the only thing I had was Snapchat until my senior year of high school.
Hmm.
I really didn't grow up. And even after that, once I was allowed to have social media, I really didn't care to really utilize it because I've gone so many years without even having it in my life. So it's not like a necessity like most people make it. Like they gotta have Facebook, they gotta have Twitter, they gotta have all this stuff. So that was a blessing and a curse because in this profession, you have to be social media savvy. You gotta be transparent with your life, and that's one thing that I'm slowly trying to work my way out of. But it's also a gift because I don't feel the need to necessarily reveal the highlight stories of my life just to make sure everybody knows that I'm happy. I don't feel the need to do that. And that's what I feel like social media is a big thing of. And it's a big misconception because you have people that are only showing you, again, that's what well known is all about, showing more than just the highlight stories and the success stories of what your life is. And that's what social media is, a bunch of people that are only showing those positive sides. They're not showing the negative sides or the downfalls, the shortcomings that they're having and stuff like that. So you get a bunch of people that get misconstrued online, but with, oh, this person's got it going on, blah, 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 blah. Well, little do you know, they're dealing with depression the same way you are. They're dealing with grief the same way you are. So I keep a healthy balance, and this is as Jones and B, we try to keep a healthy balance between, interacting with fans, promoting, and having a private life. Because we are one thing we love outside of, the music and, people that love our music, um, and the change and impact that we're making is our peace.
Hmm.
So that's something in our family. So the reason we're doing all of this is to have the peace with our family, to be able to have a peace of mind and be able to disperse that to the rest of the family so we can keep the people that we care about around us and just enjoy our life the remainder of our life that we have here. And it's okay to be transparent on social media because that's what you want your fans to see. You want them to see you being active, doing things, this, that, and the third. But when you get up there and you starting to address problems with people and stuff like that, and that's the where it raises a question for me. What is anybody in your fan base? How are they going to immediately be able to change anything when this is only between two people, two parties, you and that other person? So how is someone that isn't necessarily in your inner circle, but they're under your fan base, but they're not in your inner circle? How are they going to be able to change that for you? How are they going to be able to? You're releasing energy into the your fan base that you don't necessarily want them to see. Like there's certain, aspects of your life that you want to reveal. You having fun, working, showing your fan base that you're working, or showing that the projects you're gearing towards for whatever community or, whatever, giving back, whatever. But when it comes to addressing situations with a significant person or someone else within your circle or camp, we got to do better about that. Stop taking everything ain't for social media. It's not. Everything is not for social media. You can't be so quick to hop on there and bash people or just because y'all have a conflict going on. Um, my biggest question to people, and I say this to few people in my family as well, like, so what did that do? You went on there and ranted, you got it out, you made social media therapist. What did it do? And the only answer they can give you is nothing. So it's very, I guess, easy for me to have that thin line of a balance because, like I said, I grew up without it, and so I watched how everybody else that grew up with it are looking back on their lives. Now you have so many people talking about, oh man, I wish I wouldn't have said that, or dang, I can't change my username, or I got this email stuck on here from when I was 14, or whatever the case may be. So it's a blessing and a curse, man. It helped me create that fine line and balance to be able to know how much of my life I do want to reveal.
All right. Okay. Well, B, you had something? Go
Yeah.
ahead. I can lead you into the
Yeah,
next
yeah.
question.
No, that's the thing about Jones and B, man. Like sometimes it's hard to speak after each other because we know each other so well. And we have that
Exactly.
same type of answering system.
Right.
But yeah, he's knocking them out the park, man. Home runs.
Okay. All right. So, with all of that being said, what's something about you both that people would find most surprising? Your fans.
You know
Uh,
what? Hold on a minute before you answer, bro. I'm gonna answer for you. You
okay,
gonna answer for me. Because I think you might be shocked by what I think people would be shocked by from you.
okay. That made it harder, but okay, go ahead, go ahead.
So for me, I think what bro don't understand, he got a secret superpower. And that superpower is really like making people taking no matter what situation you're in, taking that situation and bringing a light over it. Like it could be times where you don't even like it. You ain't got no business laughing at the situation or in the midst of a situation, and bro just do something stupid, and he don't even mean to be funny about it. It's just him. It's just who he is, and that's
Right.
the superpower, bro. Like his gift of joy, laughter, and never letting anybody damper his life. Like it's radiated onto me to the point to where it's like regardless of what obstacle comes, bro, you got to find some type of light in that situation. And no matter what it is, bro never fails to find the light in the situation of it all. So I think that's one of the superpowers that he's like, people are going to be very shocked, not necessarily even shocked, but just amazed. Like he can, no matter what he faces, he continues to be this positive person for everybody else around him, even if he's in a, you know, shambles of situation himself.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, after that, somebody would be surprised about KJ. Man.
I put him on the spot with this one. He didn't expect that.
No, I definitely didn't. I just think for me, it would be most artists come into the industry and they begin to develop things, right? They begin to develop a sense of who they are or a sense of the direction they want to go to, or they start to do their research, or it's kind of too late where they get involved in situations where they're just kind of behind on things.
Yeah.
Unlike KJ, who, even though he just kind of was getting into the industry, he was already deep diving into what he needed to do as far as the business aspect of it. When it comes to the business aspect of the industry, he is well versed in it. And I'll be honest with you, if it was just me, I don't know, because when some of these questions people be asking and stuff like that, I be just nudging, like, go ahead and answer it, bro, because I don't know what they talking about right now. Because I'm telling you, and he'll tell you, I'm not even joking. The way that he's well versed in the industry when it comes to knowing social media, when it comes to knowing the metrics to things, as far as what we're gonna do, as far as streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Before them, I never digital, whatever, he knows
Digital.
all those terminology. Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
don't know all that. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, and like when management and they're having these convos, I'm usually just quiet in the background, like, oh, what are they talking about right now? I'm just,
Yeah.
So I think that'll be something that a lot of people are surprised by him, because KJ can walk into a meeting, he can sit down at the table with these individuals or these labels and know exactly what they're talking about or know exactly what he wants. And they're going to sit there and be like, oh, well, they're not supposed to know this, but
Can't
okay,
mess this over,
we
man.
gonna have to, we gonna have to think of something. We gonna have to try a different direction to come at them, because they know everything, or he knows everything. So I think that's something that would surprise a lot of people.
Right. So KJ, you the Michael Bivins of the group.
Man, I just try to do the research to make sure we all stay ready before not being in a situation to where we have to get ready. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of this, what we learned in this game is it's fast. It's very fast. And if you aren't ready, it will get exposed at that moment. And again, if you aren't ready, the window of opportunity will close quickly because this is a fast paced game. And I was able to, just take everybody's failures and successes and learn from them, because you can learn from, a bad role model can show you exactly what not to do, and a positive role model can show you exactly what to do. So I just took bits and pieces of both, and from keywords that they were saying or names they were saying, further research on those names, further research on the words or different terminology as far as the industry goes, just because I'm noticing it's starting to show itself relevant in Joanz and B's situation. So I need to be on the uh, ahead of the curve before anybody tries to talk numbers with us. And then on top of that, we know exactly what we want and how we're going to go about getting it and obtaining that. So it's just about as a collective making sure everybody is on one page. And if that one person or two people dive deep and do the research, it helps the rest of us. And B's, he's not giving as much credit for himself as he should have. Like he knows a very good chunk of the industry and how it's operating, and that's where we come together and put our heads together, because through the terminology that I've researched and the things that he's seeing as an issue, I'm like, okay, you're in the right ballpark because you understand why it's an issue. But let me go ahead and tell you a little bit further as to why it's an issue and why they're complaining the way they're complaining and what they didn't do. So we don't do that. And sometimes, and I've noticed it too. Like I'm seeing that he's doing his research too because things are getting very serious right now for us. So he comes to me with situations in our contract and we discuss it over and figure out how that does it harm us, does it benefit us, all this stuff. So it's been like I said, it's been a learning curve, man. It's really been an iron sharpen iron situation.
Good, good. So, like you mentioned about it being such a fast-paced society, and the music industry is no different. Where it's like, some artists are putting out music damn near around the clock. Like,
Yeah.
Oversaturating the
yeah,
industry.
Oh yeah, I was
yeah,
just about to say.
oversaturating the industry, and as you mentioned, Jones, early in the interview, the quality of music isn't there. It's like it's here one day and gone the next. Like how do y'all navigate that when it comes to wanting to put quality over quantity, but also having to deal with the politics of the industry?
So, simply put, do what you do best. Some people are going in the studio knocking out these songs because it's a TikTok fashion and they're on TikTok
There.
saying, "Oh, it's a
Yep.
trend. Let me follow the latest trend. If I get this BPM, and I just need a dancing song real quick," and it can be terrible. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a huge critic of myself. I'm a huge critic of others, and I do what makes you best and follow your passion. But sometimes you got to be able to sit down and tell yourself, "Hey, this ain't it." And this is
Hmm.
what's missing in the industry now, honestly, personally, is individuals that you surround yourself by. That's why I'm so grateful for the people that we surround ourselves by. Surround yourself by truthful minded individuals. People that will tell you the truth, people that will be blunt with you, and people that will just keep things 100 a buck with you. Because you got people making these music, making these songs, and everybody's like, oh, that's because that's my person, my people's. It's a great song. No, negative, negative.
Hmm.
And it's oversaturating the industry. And people are just throwing out music, throwing out whatever they hear, throwing out storylines that they've never even been through, throwing out what the next artist does because it's rocking in New York, so let me try to top that song
Exactly.
instead of sitting down, putting their head together, putting an actual pen to a pad, and creating a story, creating a sensation that people want to hear. People want to hear the melodies. People want to hear the instrumentation behind the music. People want to hear the storyline. People want to hear the bass at a correct level. People don't want to hear this. You got people making songs for. We make songs for everybody, so
Hmm.
it's not going to be just for teens or just for seasoned individuals or younger individuals. It's going to be one tone for everybody, whereas certain musicians now are they got their bass sky high where it's a lot of
Hmm.
music you can't listen to it because the seasoned individuals like, yo, what is this, like this is
Hmm.
crazy. So what we do is just we focus and we like to, even though we like to give a recipe to our music, and we like to take other people's music and divide it and see exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it like this so that we can perfect our craft.
Exactly.
Right. So, you've mentioned the prayer warriors. I imagine you guys have a vision board for where you want Jones and B to be in like 5 or 10 years.
Hmm.
What does that look like? Where are we 5 or 10 years from now? What are we talking about when it comes to Jones and B?
5 to 10 years from now, I would say, and this is for me, I'm sure B will speak on it. For us, I want us to be in a situation to where we've not only had our success story in this industry and other avenues of this industry, not just music, um, but we were able to bring up people from our success and from our platform. And at that point, we're watching them flourish in their careers now. Like, that's where I would say I would want to be in the next, 5 to 10 years range. Like, we're to the point to where, you know, we've poured into so many people and now we're just watching their careers flourish from the, you know, just doing God's work, doing God's work.
Moguls.
Hmm.
We want to be the DJ Khaled's.
Yes, yes, yes. Putting people in position.
DJ Khaled is one of a select few that no matter what, he's showing love. He's going to people's events. He's showcasing things. He's bringing people into situations that they ain't got no business being in, honestly. And
Hmm.
DJ Khaled is not afraid to open his mind to do whatever. The
Whatever.
man plays golf. The man's got shoes. The man's got, and that's what the direction we're going for. We don't only do music. We got a line of tequila coming out, El Trador.
Hmm. Hmm.
We got the merchandise coming. We want to do more than just give you music, whether that be coming and just talking to you. Coming and sitting on a stage and just talking to people. Hey, how was your day? What are you going through? Being those advocates to tell you that you're not alone. You're not the only people that are going through the things that you're going through. So we want to be moguls in the next 5 years. Moguls that people look up to and moguls that people say that, hey, there are people that are doing exactly or that are just like me that have gone through the situations that I've gone through. And it's okay to be an individual. It's okay to think outside the box because look where it's taken them.
All right, so we have Well Known obviously out now.
Hmm.
What else is next? Do we have tours? Yeah,
Oh yeah.
the next single or the EP dropping? Hey, what's next? You said the Tequila B.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just
So
tell us about
right
that.
now we just in the gearing up of, you know, we just dropped the video for Well Known. That's out, that's rolling. We are pushing radio right now, radio camp, different radio tours and stuff like that. Right now we're setting up to hit some different festivals within our area, you know, East Coast area. So we're really getting into the aspect of making the people see our face. So that's what you're about to see more of, Joanz and B.
Right. All right, cool. So feel free to plug your socials, even though you all don't care to be on there a whole lot. Plug your socials, plug the website, plug the single where we can get it, where we can get the whatever else you have going on, the tequila, the whole nine.
So
Let it
Jones and
know.
B, Jones and B. It's simply put Joanz and B3E, not pronounced B3E. Please don't pronounce it B3E. It's B.
Forward. Yep. Get it right.
And Jones and B on everything, social media platforms, any music outlet that you can think of. All of our music is on there, not just Well Known. We got more. We got a bunch of music on there for you. And then, as far as Instagram and stuff like that, Jones and B, hit that bell, those notifications. Make sure you click the bell for the notifications. You'll know exactly when the merch is dropping. You'll know where you can get that tequila from. You'll know the tour dates, where we're going to be next, and everything that's coming, you will be a part of. So,
Hmm.
Jones and B, simply put, and that's us.
I hear that. All right, so B, well, Jones, I think I'll let you end this with a parting shot since
Uh
it seems like B calls you the closer.
Closer.
oh. Walk off home run, huh?
You're the Babe Ruth.
Yep. Yeah, so leave
So
us with some words of inspiration or, just, yeah, whatever you have on your heart.
I'll say what we always try to say. You know, don't be afraid. We always end on a positive note with different interviews and whatever outlet we get to speak on. So don't be afraid to be different. Stay prayed up. You know, don't be afraid to step outside the box, man. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. You weren't created in his image to withhold all the gifts and anointing he stored in you. So don't be afraid to be different, man. Don't follow the norm. Don't be molded by these labels. Please don't get molded by these labels. Be yourself. Be authentic because that's how the people before us paved the way for us to be here now. So that's the best thing I can give to these upcoming artists or anybody that's trying to develop their own craft in whatever avenue, ventureship, businesship, whatever. Be different. Be true to yourself, man.
Right. Yo, Jones and B, Well Known, out now. Yo, it was a pleasure, fellas.
Get
Man, we
it while it's
appreciate
hot.
you. You hear me? Fisheries.
Uh-huh. All right, so for Stop, Look, and Listen, I'm your host, LeTroy Gardner. See you next week. Peace and blessings.